He straight up sat in that room smoking a cigarette and smiling, like he hadn't just been arrested on suspicion of murder. The trial against George, specifically, it began on February 19th, 2018, and no time was wasted getting into the nitty-gritty details. The prosecution argued that George undeniably murdered Nikki Vanderheyden and that the evidence proves that it was him and him alone. First, there was the phone data, which placed him at every single location associated with Nikki's murder. And then they had his DNA on both her body and the cord that they say he strangled her with. So the entire strategy of the defense was to convince the jury that Doug had been the one to kill Nikki. And I'm sure you're already thinking that's a terrible argument, and it is, because obviously they have all this physical evidence against George, plus they have plenty of evidence to prove that Doug is innocent. After a 2-week trial, they only took 4 hours to deliberate, and they came back with a guilty verdict. And 2 of the jurors ended up telling reporters that their decision really just came down to one thing, and that was the wire cord. That cord, which was used to strangle Nikki, only had one man's DNA on it, and that was George. And at sentencing a few weeks later, 19 letters were submitted to the judge asking that he punish him for as long as the law would allow. And that's exactly what the judge did. He sentenced George to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and even told him that if he could, he would sentence him to the death penalty.